You think your anxiety lives in your head. That racing heart before a meeting, that dread on Sunday evening, that constant feeling something is wrong even when nothing is wrong. You've been told this is a mental health issue, a chemical imbalance in your brain, a problem for therapy or medication. You're wrong. Your anxiety lives in your stomach. It lives in 500 million neurons lining your gut right now, firing electrical signals, processing information, that making decisions completely independent of your skull. This is your second brain, the enteric nervous system, and it is screaming at you while your first brain only hears static. Let me show you what you've been missing. The scientific discovery is recent, but the biology is ancient. Your gut contains more neurons than your spinal cord, more than a cat's entire brain. This isn't digestion hardware. This is a separate intelligence, a parallel processor that reads your environment, calculates threats, and sends verdicts upward before your conscious mind can form a thought. When you walk into a room and immediately feel uneasy without knowing why, that's not paranoia. That's neuroception. Your gut brain detected micro signals your eyes never registered. A tone of voice, a micro expression, a shift in electromagnetic field. It processed this data in milliseconds and sent a warning up the vagus nerve. You felt it as intuition, as gut feeling, as knowing without knowing how you know. This system kept your ancestors alive for 200,000 years. It allowed them to sense predators before seeing them, to read hostile intent before weapons appeared, to navigate social complexity without language. And you have been taught to ignore it, to override it, to call it irrational while you drown in analysis paralysis. The disconnection is not psychological. It is physiological. The telephone line between your two brains has been severed, and I will show you exactly how to repair it. The vagus nerve is the longest nerve in your autonomic nervous system. It wanders from your brainstem down through your neck, chest, diaphragm, and into your abdomen. 80% of its traffic flows upward, from gut to brain, not the other way around. Your second brain sends constant updates about your internal state and external environment. But modern life has corrupted this signal. Processed food creates inflammation in your gut lining. That inflammation produces cytokines that tell your vagus nerve to contract defensively. The signal weakens. Chronic low-grade stress keeps your sympathetic nervous system dominant. Fight or flight. The vagus nerve shuts down because you cannot digest and run simultaneously. But you never stop running. Bills, traffic, notifications, news cycles, endless low-level threat. Your body cannot distinguish between a lion and an email. The stress response stays active for hours, days, years. The vagus nerve atrophies from disuse. The result is static on the line. Your gut brain transmits clearly, but your head brain receives noise. You experience this as free-floating anxiety, dread without object, panic without cause. You have been disconnected from your own biological antenna. The ancients understood this system completely. They called it the dantian, the lower cauldron, the seat of power, located 3 finger widths below your navel. In Taoist internal alchemy, this is where intention becomes action, where thought becomes reality. Every Qigong practice begins here. Every Tai Chi form roots here, not in the head, in the gut. The samurai called it the hara, the center. A warrior did not think through combat. Thought is too slow. By the time you analyze a sword strike, you are dead. Instead, he moved from the hara, instinct, reflex, knowing that lived below conscious thought. This was not mysticism. This was survival technology. A trained samurai could read attack intent before movement began, could feel trajectory before it manifested, because his gut brain was online. His vagus nerve was clear. His two brains functioned as one system. Western science dismissed this for centuries as poetry, as superstition, until neuroscientists mapped neuroception and found the biological mechanism. Your gut lining contains sensory neurons monitoring everything: microbes, toxins, chemical signals, but also environmental data, tone of voice, body language, pheromones, information your conscious mind never processes. Your enteric nervous system computes this in milliseconds and sends verdicts upward: safe or unsafe, truth or lie, approach or avoid. This is intuition, not magic. Biology. Evolution installed precognition in your abdomen and gave it more processing power than most animals have total. And you have been suppressing it, overriding it, calling it irrational while you make worse decisions with your thinking brain alone. The reconnection is not mysterious. It is mechanical. You can physically stimulate your vagus nerve. You can clear the static. You can bring the second brain back online. Here is the protocol. 2 minutes, twice daily. Sit or stand. Place one hand on your chest, one hand on your belly below your rib cage. Breathe so only the bottom hand moves. This is diaphragmatic breathing. The breath pattern your body used before stress taught you shallow chest breathing. Inhale through your nose for 4 counts. Push your belly against your hand. Feel your diaphragm drop like a piston. This creates abdominal pressure. This pressure mechanically massages your vagus nerve, wakes it up, stimulates the signal. Hold for 4 counts. Feel the stretch. Your diaphragm presses your gut presses back. This is the massage, the reset, the line clearing. Exhale through your mouth for 6 counts. Pull your belly inward, empty completely. Feel your diaphragm rise. Pressure releases, vagus nerve relaxes, cycle completes. 10 repetitions, 4 in, 4 hold, 6 out. By the 3rd breath, you will feel shift. Warmth in your belly, loosening in your chest, quieting in your mind. By the 10th breath, static clears. This is your vagus nerve returning online, your two brains remembering how to communicate. Practice this every morning, every evening. Before important decisions, when anxiety surfaces, when you feel disconnected from yourself. You are not merely breathing, you are rebooting the system, restoring the channel, rebuilding the flow. But breathing alone is incomplete. You must also stop poisoning the line. 90% of your serotonin is produced in your gut. Not your brain, your gut. By the bacteria living there, your microbiome. These organisms are part of your second brain. They talk to your neurons. They influence your emotions. They shape your intuition. When you feed them processed food, refined sugar, industrial seed oils, they die. Wrong bacteria colonize. The signal degrades further. You think you are eating food. You are programming your intuition. You are feeding clarity or feeding static. There is no neutral. Clean food. Real food. Food your great-grandfather would recognize. This is not diet culture. This is signal maintenance. You want intuition. You want flow. You want to feel truth again. Then stop eating lies. The connection between your two brains represents your most powerful tool. Older than language, older than logic, older than civilization. It is the biological root of every genuine spiritual tradition. It has been inside you always, buried under inflammation, drowned by noise, severed by a culture that taught you to live in your head and ignore everything below your neck. But the wire remains intact. It still functions, yet you need only clear the line. Begin this practice today. Notice what changes. Notice how decisions feel different when you check with your gut first. Notice how people respond when you speak from your center rather than your head. Notice how the world seems more navigable when you trust the knowing that arrives before thought. Your second brain has been waiting. It has been sending signals you could not receive. Now you have the protocol. Now you can listen. The static will clear. The intuition will return. The flow will restore. This is not addition. This is subtraction, removing the obstacles between what you are and what you can be. If this resonated, you already felt it. That recognition in your body. That sense something true was named. Subscribe for more protocols that reconnect you to systems modern life has severed. The next video shows you how to read the specific signals your gut sends about people, decisions, and environments. And how to distinguish true intuition from anxiety disguised as knowing. Your second brain is speaking. Learn to hear it.